Lindy and Miguel. I liked that conversation at breakfast when it started. Because it looked like Miguel was listening intently while she was giving her whole background on the previous engagement and all that. But you thought she kind of talked too much.
Lindy, come on, land the plane. You're circling the airport. Land that plane. Get to the point. Kiss the baby, put it to bed. Let's go. She takes.
Are these things you tell your team? This how you motivate your team? Land the plane, kiss the baby.
As they're telling me a story, I'm like, hey, just you're circling the airport, land the plane, get to the point. I got 5 minutes. I don't have time to listen to I don't need all the extras. Just tell me the story and move on. But Lindy I was in this relationship, and because it's almost like when people tell those stories, it's like they try to justify everything that happened and add all this extra context. Just say, hey, met a dude, fell in love, lost my virginity to him. We both had different views of what we wanted to go, and so we kind of went our separate ways. But I say all that to say is I take having intercourse personally. Like it's not just something to feel good for me. I want to be able to have that connection. It means a lot. Are we cool? All that. I did that in less than a minute. Mm-hmm. She was, and they edited what she so there was more.
The thing that she could have definitely left out of it was the ring by spring. First of all, never heard that, but I get it. We didn't go to the same school. We didn't hang around the same people. But that ring by spring thing would have had me thinking like, so basically you settled before is what it sounds like. You just wanted to be married, right? It's 6 years later now. Okay, well, here we are. Because 6 years since they broke up. So, hey. But she wasn't feeling his responses when they're having this deep conversation, because he's just more like, not giving much.
Like, sex is cool, but it's also just something pleasurable. Two people do. I don't think it's this big, all but minimizing how she feels about intercourse and sex by saying, hey, I hear that. It's like, I see your opinion. I'm going to raise you mine.
And it should overshadow yours.
It should overshadow yours. So sex is just a physical act, just about pleasure, no big deal, and all that. So I totally get where she's coming from.
You know what was really amusing to me was, and not so amusing to Miguel, is when Lindy said, "Why are you so old?" When they were talking about the years they graduated high school, and he hated that joke. He hated it. He looked like he was like...
Gotta let that go, man. You gotta let that go. That happens. He graduated, 2004? She was 2011.
Yeah, he was 2003.
So he was 18.
He was 8 years older than her.
Okay. So that happens. If you date, so I've dated people who are 5 or 6 years younger than me, and they make those jokes. Mm-hmm. He's 8. You just got to get over that. But his face, he definitely did not like that at all.
He was not feeling that. He was like, if your young ass don't get in this bed. See, that's why women my age, they would have been in the bed already. But I will say, great convo about their backgrounds. And I like the fact that they both agreed that arguing is not always a bad thing. Because I think people take arguing, and I think what they really meant though was disagreements, not really arguing. Because arguments are arguments, right? Yeah. But disagreements are not always a bad thing. It's okay to disagree because you can't always agree and be on the same page and have the same view. You and I have never had the same view all the time. I mean, we're also not married, but yeah.
Thank you for putting that out to the group. I'm glad that we got that's squared away.
Before somebody's like, I knew it.
Yeah. Their whole dialogue I thought was weird. And it kind of goes back to what I said about them in the beginning. If you look at how Miguel grew up and everything that he's seen, not only is he older than Lindy, he's leaps and bounds ahead of her. And just that he's seen an experience that she's not done yet. So it's just going to be kind of off.
That's just because
maybe old. That can play to his favor, and maybe it won't, because of the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing. That no woman who's familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, she's not gonna be like. In fact, I would love anyone comment if you're dating a man who's into Dungeons and Dragons and your thumbs up about that. I would love to hear from that person. Like, tell me how that works.
Exactly. Madden is okay. Dungeons and Dragons is not.
Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't say anything about video games. If you're like in your mid-30s and you're having your friends come over for an imaginary party to talk about imaginary shit, no.
Look, but Miguel wanted to show that he wasn't that old when he broke out the old college massage trick to try and seduce her, right? He's like, oh, you got to
shut her up. That's how he shut up. You want a massage?
Like, I remember that move.
Yeah. It's like she's just talking about all her stuff. He's like, squirrel, you want a massage?